Hello, Rowan Mithril here once again, and it's time to blow this burger stand. Time to continue on with Silent Hill 3. Now, I had noticed another store that kind of looked like this with the gate half down, but you could still see the door. It was over this way. Yeah, right here. News for boy? Huh? Anyway, you can't go in. No point to it. Just seemed interesting that that was the only door that kind of looked like the one for the Happy Burger. So I had to check it out.
Heather,
It's you.
what just happened?
You must be one of them.
What did I do? And what do you mean by one of them?
You're in on this with that Claudia, aren't you?
Claudia? What about her? She asked me to find you, that's all.
So you are one of them.
Claudia did all that? Look, I was just hired to find you. I'm not on anybody's side. I don't know anything about this. Why don't you start by telling me what happened here? And that monster. What the hell was that?
I don't know any more than you do. All I know is that things are getting really screwy around here, and I got a weird feeling it's got something to do with me. Maybe you're just an innocent bystander, but I can't feel sorry for you because you dragged me into this. You know, if you hadn't found me...
What are you talking about? What's so special about you anyway?
If I knew that, I wouldn't be so confused, would I? But I know there's something. Something I've been running from and forgot for a long time. How did I remember that?
What's wrong?
Nothing.
Where are you going?
I'm taking the subway home.
What should I do?
Hell if I know.
Right, so, two things. First off, obviously our little trek through the other world was pretty much for nothing because we didn't get away from Douglas. And second, after all that, I can't say I'd be using the subway to get home. I wouldn't be too interested in closed-in little passages like this. You know, we just saw the front doors to the mall. I'd be out hailing a cab, something like that, but I guess that's why I'm not a professional protagonist. Anyway, trying to go back up, she has no interest in it. I've got no use for that place anymore. I'd rather get back home on the double. So, time to explore the subway. Forget where I left off my health. Just barely in the yellow. That's not too terribly bad. I still have a health drink if I really need it, but I'd rather hang on to it for now. Alright. And let's take a moment to appreciate the biggest, fluffiest kitty ever. I mean, just look at that. I don't know how well that'll actually translate to once YouTube gets done compressing the video, but looking at it, I see a big fat fluffy kitty. Unfortunately, we don't have a map for this area yet. Thankfully, the subway does kind of shepherd us in one direction for a while. Pretty good thing with how complicated this area is. Not the most complicated, but still. Let's see, was that the only way I had? Yeah, that's where I came in. Alright. Lots and lots and lots of locked doors. And finally a map. There's a subway map here. But even without looking at this, I still know my way home. Well, I'm glad you do, but we could use the map. I just need to get on the Bergen Street train at platform 3. Well, at least we have a basic destination in mind now. There's a newspaper left on top of the ticket machine. Fatal accident at Hazel Street. At about 11 p.m. on the 4th, a man waiting on the platform at the Hazel Street station fell onto the tracks and was decapitated by the arriving St. Renata College-bound train. The victim died instantly. Well, I'd hope so. While police have not yet determined whether the death was an accident or suicide, witnesses report that the victim did not look inebriated and seemed to jump off the platform deliberately. The victim's identity still is unknown. He was approximately 40 years old, 5 feet 10 inches tall, and was wearing a black jacket. This newspaper is 4 months old. What's it doing here now? Pfft, everything else going on and Heather finds that strange? Priorities, girl, priorities. Okay, so we'll be able to get through there, but let's keep looking around for the moment. Or not, because we've made the full circuit of the room. I don't think there's anything else of interest in here. Just a lot of wide open area. And onward we go. And finally, we get a map. Yeah, for those wondering why I like to check all the doors, it does mark them off on the door, on the door. That was almost correct. It marks off the doors on the map if you cannot go through them. So, looking around at areas, if I see a lot of red, I know chances are there's nothing I can do there. It does help out a bit. Plus, it's just force of habit. So we have stairways all over the place, menacing growling in the distance. And so, once more, we're pretty much shepherded in one direction. We'll have to use stairs to go downward. You know, this is about the time, hearing all that growling, that I'd be thinking, you know, that mall and the front door there is looking like a pretty good option. And we have a save point here. But again, it's one that she doesn't have anything special to say about it. It's just there if you really need it. Got graffiti all over the place. The fire doors are locked. They'd be tough to open, so forget it. But the door next to it is just plenty fine, apparently. A row of phone booths, but they're all broken. Well then, what just made that ringing sound, my dear? Okay. So, yeah, going this way, we find more locked areas. We can get down this one if we so desire, but we don't quite want to just yet. Going this way, we have another that we can't do anything about, but we do have one that has a more obvious lock on it. The chains holding the doors together are secured with a bolt and nut. The nut is screwed on tight. I can't turn it with my hands. Doesn't help that the thing looks pretty rusty anyway. So now, coming back over this way, we've got stairs going down over there. And we've got stairs going down over here. Looking at our map, it doesn't tell us a whole heck of a lot. I read this a long time ago. It's a nothing little occult magazine. Seemed like a bunch of crap to me. It's not so bad if you just read it for fun, though. The souls of those who died suddenly by suicide or accident don't realize they're dead. Sometimes they stay put and haunt that particular place. Died suddenly by suicide and don't realize it? How does that work? These spirits have lost their human senses and memories and can only keep replaying the pain and sadness of the moment they died. The pain can get so bad that they turn to humans for salvation, or they begrudge humans their lives. At such times they can possess humans. Places known as famous suicide spots or high accident areas are often to blame. You should be careful when approaching such locations, especially on the day or at the time the death occurred. That is, if you don't want it to happen to you, too. Okay. So let's just look around here a bit. This stairwell just leads up to where we just were, so no point in that. Here in the subway you can jump down on the tracks, but it's a pretty bad idea. Yeah, that stuff about high accident areas? It's true. If you fall on the tracks, get off immediately. Yeah, you heard that little train horn there? It's not just for show. If you stay on the tracks too long, a subway will happily come along and mow you down for an instant death. However, if you get back off the tracks, the train never comes. Kind of strange, that.